modern depiction of Jesus, Yeshua, being born in a cold, dirty stable on December 25th is not rooted in Scripture. This version was shaped centuries later through Roman tradition and Christian legend. The true account, found through careful study of the Bible and Hebraic context, reveals a far deeper and more prophetic event: the birth of Yeshua during Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles, with heavenly signs, priestly significance, and a timeline woven through the prophecies of Daniel. A prophet whose influence guided events even generations after his earthly life. Yeshua was born during the Feast of Sukkot, a sacred appointed time, Moed, commanded in Leviticus 23. Sukkot is a 7-day festival marked by joy, worship, and the building of temporary shelters called Sukkot, reminders of Israel's journey through the wilderness and God's provision. When Joseph and Mary arrived in Bethlehem, the city was overflowing with travelers, as Torah-observant Jews had gathered for the feast. The so-called inn, Greek kataluma, was not a hotel, but a guest room, already occupied. Instead of being cast into a filthy barn, they were offered a sukkah, a temporary dwelling as was customary during the feast. This perfectly fulfilled the prophetic truth. The Word became flesh and tabernacled, dwelt among us. John 1:14. At the exact moment of Yeshua's birth, shofars, ram's horns, echoed throughout Jerusalem, marking the beginning of Sukkot, and simultaneously, Zechariah, a priest, and Mary's cousin's husband, was serving in the temple, chosen by Lot to burn incense before the Holy of Holies. Instead of rags, Yeshua was wrapped in priestly garments, swaddling cloths, linens from Zechariah the priest, Mary's cousin's husband, who served in the temple. That year, he was chosen by Lot to light the incense in the temple, a significant priestly act only chosen ones in a priest's lifetime to have the honors to complete the task. The newborn was not wrapped in rags, but in priestly linen garments given from temple service. These cloths foreshadowed his future role as both high priest and sacrificial lamb. Daniel and the prophetic timeline, stars, signs, and divine preparation. The prophet Daniel lived during the Babylonian captivity and held a high position under several empires. He was a master of visions, prophetic dreams, and astronomical signs, entrusted by God with some of the most detailed messianic prophecies in all of Scripture. Daniel 9, Daniel 12. Daniel was alive during the timeline of prophetic fulfillment and was fully aware of the coming of the Anointed One, Messiah. According to the book of Daniel, he calculated and recorded the exact timing of the Messiah's appearance, death, and role in restoring righteousness. Daniel did not merely leave these prophecies as abstract texts. He instructed a remnant of wise men, magi, in Babylon to continue watching the heavens for signs of the coming king. These wise men, Chaldean astronomer priests, were trained in the prophetic timing and star movements Daniel recorded, such as the alignment of heavenly bodies that would mark the Messiah's birth. The star in the east, Matthew 2:2, was not random. It was specifically anticipated, guided by Daniel's teachings. Thus, when Yeshua was born, the Magi were not surprised. They had been waiting for centuries, watching the heavens, and were sent from Babylon with treasures in hand. Gifts not chosen at random, but prepared by the legacy of Daniel himself. The Magi came later, with divine timing. The Magi did not arrive on the night of Yeshua's birth. Scripture clearly says they visited a child in a house, Matthew 2:11, not a baby in a manger. By the time of their arrival, Yeshua was around a year and a half old. This timing fits with Herod's decision to kill all male children under 2 years old in Bethlehem. Their arrival brought prophetic fulfillment of Isaiah 60 verse 6. They shall bring gold and frankincense, and shall proclaim the praises of the Lord. The Magi's visit was not part of a Christmas postcard scene. It was the continuation of a divinely orchestrated timeline that had begun with Daniel centuries earlier. Ben-Hur, the fictional recasting of a true story. In 1880, Lew Wallace published Ben-Hur, A Tale of the Christ, one of the most influential Christian novels ever written. While sincere and powerful in its storytelling, it opens with a romanticized manger scene featuring a dramatic star, shepherds arriving in awe, the three wise men presenting gifts on the night of birth. Although meant to inspire, this version is fictionalized, blending Christian tradition with imaginative elements. Wallace portrayed the westernized version of Yeshua's birth, shaped more by Christmas tradition than biblical truth. Yet Wallace's account not only confused the story, but helped with the transition from a biblical base to a pagan-rooted festival Christmas. He wanted to show Christ as central to history. His novel became a tool for spiritual awakening, even if it carried the misconceptions of his era. Rediscovering the real Yeshua, born in a feast, fulfilled in the heavens. Yeshua was born during Sukkot, wrapped in priestly garments, as shofars rang through Jerusalem. Daniel, guided by divine wisdom, charted the stars and left instructions for the Magi to recognize the King of Kings. The wise men arrived exactly on time, bearing gifts preordained by prophecy and preserved by faith. The nativity scene, as told in popular tradition, is not the biblical account, but a fictional narrative popularized through novels and art. Restoring the true timeline honors the richness of Scripture, the depth of Jewish prophetic tradition, and the majestic precision of God's plan.